Hello everyone, welcome to the geography class. In this video, I'll be continuing with the 6th chapter of class 10th geography, that is the manufacturing industries. Now in this video, I'll be discussing about the mineral based industries. So let's start the topic. In mineral based industries, we include iron and steel industry, aluminium smelting, chemical industries, fertilizer industries, cement industries, automobile industries, information technology and electronics industries. Firstly, we will discuss about the iron and steel industry. This industry is called as basic industry because it provides raw material to many other industries such as machines and tools, transport equipments, construction material, etc. It is also called as heavy industry because raw material like iron ore, coal, limestone are bulky in nature. Most of the steel plants are located in Chota Nagpur region. Today, steel industry in India are facing many problems like high cost of production, limited availability of cooking coal, low productivity of labor, irregular supply of energy. Raw materials are found only in certain pockets of India, poor infrastructure like transport and communication, etc. These are certain basic needs of this industry. Iron and steel industry is facing these problems these days. Why iron and steel industry located in peninsular India only? Now this is a very prominent question which often comes in board exam. So let's see the reasons why it is located in peninsular region only. Good and more raw materials, large quantities of good quality iron and steel is available in peninsular India. Power resources like coal, oil and water power are available in there. Skilled labor, cheap and skilled labor is available. It can also be hired from Bihar, Odisha, West Bengal, MP, Madhya Pradesh. Besides, skilled labor is also locally available. And nearness to the market. Large indigenous markets are available in peninsular India. Even the peninsular India is well connected with the ports. So the port facilities are available for the export of iron and steel manufactured goods. Now in this map you can see the important iron and steel plants of India. You can see that most of the Chota Nagpur plateau is having good iron and steel plants like Bokaro, Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Burnpur, Durgapur, Bhilai, and in south we have other important iron and steel plants like Bhadravati, Vijayanagar, Salem. These maps are very important from exam point of view, so do not miss them. Now we'll discuss about the aluminium smelting. Aluminium smelting is the second most important metallurgical industry in India. It is light, resistant to corrosion, a good conductor of heat, malleable. Malleable means this metal can be molded in different forms and become strong when it is mixed with other metals. So these are certain qualities of aluminium or the properties. It is used to manufacture aircraft utensils and wires. It has gained popularity as a substitute of steel, copper, zinc and lead in a number of industries. Aluminium smelting plant in India are located in Odisha, West Bengal, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu. In 2008 and 9, India produced over 15.29 lakh million tons of aluminium. Bauxite, the raw material used in the smelter, is a very bulky dark reddish color rock. So many times this question comes, 1 mark question can come, which is the raw material used in aluminium industry. Then you need to know it is not aluminium, it is bauxite. Then regular supply of electricity and an assured source of raw material at minimum cost are the two prime factors for location of this industry. Now we'll discuss about the chemical industry. The chemical industry in India is fast growing and diversifying. It contributes approximately 3% of GDP. It is the third largest in Asia and occupies the 12th place in the world in terms of its size. It comprises both large and small scale manufacturing units. The chemical industry is its own largest consumer because basic chemicals undergo processing to further produce other chemicals that are used for industrial applications, agriculture, or directly for consumer markets. Two types of chemical industry we can see: organic and inorganic chemicals. So the organic chemicals includes petrochemicals, which are used for manufacturing of synthetic fibers, synthetic rubber, plastic, dye stuffs, drugs and pharmaceuticals. Organic chemical plants are located near oil refineries or petrochemical plants. Now we'll discuss about the inorganic chemicals. It includes sulfuric acid, which is generally used to manufacture fertilizers, synthetic fiber, plastic, adhesive, paints, dye stuffs. Nitric acid, alkali soda ash, these are used to make glass, soaps and detergent and paper. And caustic soda. These industries are widely spread over the country. Now talking about the fertilizer industry. The first fertilizer plant in India was set up in Ranipat in Tamil Nadu in 1906. Note down this point, that first fertilizer plant was set up in Tamil Nadu in 1906. The fertilizer industry is centered around the production of nitrogenous fertilizers. At present, there are 10 public sector undertaking and one in cooperative sector at Hazaria in Gujarat under the Fertilizer Corporation of India. Now, let's see the distribution. Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Kerala produces more than half of the total fertilizer production in India. Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka are other important producers. Because of the easy availability of natural gas, the fertilizer industry is widely spread in the country. Now let's see the production. India produces about 1 million ton of nitrogenous, 4 million tons of phosphatic and 1.7 million tons of potassic fertilizers. The country is required to import potassium from abroad. Now let's see the cement industry. Cement is essential for construction activity such as building houses, factories, bridges, roads, airports, dams, and for other commercial establishments. This industry requires bulky and heavy raw materials like limestone, silica, alumina and gypsum. This is very important. This is a very prominent question that comes in board exam, that cement industry require the raw materials of cement industry. So you need to know that limestone, gypsum, silica, these are some important raw materials that is widely used in cement industry. Coal and electric power are needed apart from rail transportation, since the raw material is heavy and the product is also heavy, so it requires good railway transportation. The first cement plant was set up in Chennai in 1904. This is very important. Again, where the first plant of cement was set up in India. So it is in Chennai in 1904. Talking about the automobile industry, these are certain important symbols of different automobile. Now, automobiles provide vehicle for quick transportation of goods, services and passengers. Trucks, buses, cars, motorcycles, scooters, three-wheelers and multi-utility vehicles are manufactured in India at various centers. The industry is located around Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow, Indore, Hyderabad, Jamshedpur and Bengaluru. Now let's see about the information technology and electronics industry. The electronics industry covers a wide range of products from transistors set to television, telephones, cellular telecom, pagers, telephone exchange, radars, computers and many other equipments required by the telecommunication industry. Bangalore or Bengaluru has emerged as the electronic capital of India. This is very important. Other important centers of electronic goods are Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, Kolkata, Lucknow and Coimbatore. By 2010 and 11, STPI, Software Technology Parks of India, have come up across 46 locations at different centers of India. A major impact of this industry has been on employment generation. It is encouraging to know that 30% of the population or the people employed in this sector are women. Very prominent feature of this industry. Now again the map showing important software technological park. This is again important from exam point of view. Some of the important ones are Noida, Mohali, Kolkata, Guwahati, Bengaluru, the prominent one, Hyderabad, Chennai, Mysore. So you need to know these centers. Many times it comes in the paper that mark the important technological park in Punjab or in Karnataka. Then you need to know the centers and their name. Now, though the industry wise we are developing at a very fast pace, but these kind of development, industrial development, leading to many environmental problems. So in the next topic we'll be discussing this. We'll talk about industrial pollution and environmental degradation, what challenges we are facing. So firstly we'll discuss about the air pollution. Air pollution is caused by the emission of CO2 or the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, etc. Chimneys of the industries produces heat leading to global warming and greenhouse effect. I hope these terms are very general and mostly used by students, so you must be knowing these words, global warming and greenhouse effect. Use of CFC is in various industrial products depletes ozone layer, which filters ultraviolet rays of the sun. Air pollution affects the human health of animal and plant alike and also causes damage to buildings. So these are certain effects that can be seen on various things of air pollution. Now talking about the water pollution, dumping of organic and inorganic industrial waste into water bodies pollute the water. Water pollution is also caused by discharge of the untreated chemical waste like dyes, detergent, acids, heavy metals like lead and mercury, plastics, fertilizers, etc. Industries which produce paper, pulp, chemical, leather, acids, dyes, fertilizers, etc. generates lot of toxic waste which kills the aquatic life. The greatest impact is seen on the aquatic life. Many type of aquatic species are becoming extinct because of the water pollution. Now talking about the thermal pollution. Thermal pollution of water occurs when hot water from factories and thermal plant is drained into rivers and pond before cooling. Noise pollution, high intensity sound generated by running machines, siren, drilling, fans, etc. leads to noise pollution. It causes irritation, hearing impairment, heart attack, etc. among the nearby people. Now we'll discuss what can be done to control the environmental degradation. Minimizing use water for processing by reusing and recycling it in 2 or more successive stages. Harvesting of rainwater to meet water requirements. Treating hot water and effluent before releasing them in rivers and ponds. Treatment of industrial effluents can be done in 3 phases. Primary treatment by mechanical means. This involves screening, grinding, flocculation and sedimentation. Secondary treatment by biological process. Tertiary treatment by biological, chemical and physical processes. This involves recycling of waste water. Noise absorbing materials may be used. Now we'll discuss about the National Thermal Power Corporation Limited. This is an important organization of India looking after the controlling of the pollutions in different spheres. We'll discuss it in detail. NTPC is a major power providing corporation in India. It has ISO certification for EMS, that means Environment Management System. The corporation has a proactive approach for preserving the natural environment and resources like water, oil and gas and fuels in places where it is setting up power plants. This has been possible through optimum utilization of equipment, adopting latest techniques and upgrading existing equipments, minimizing waste generation by maximizing ash utilization, providing green belts for nurturing ecological balance and addressing the question of special purpose vehicles for afforestation, reducing environmental pollution through ash pond management, ash water recycling system and liquid waste management, ecological monitoring, reviews and online database management for all its power stations. So, these are the functions of NTPC and the steps taken by this organization. All these initiatives shows that the government is taking steps and measures to protect our environment, but it is our duty also as a citizen to make our environment safe for everyone. So with this note, I am concluding this chapter. Thank you for watching this video.